Good morning from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Monday, December 17. We are in the process of applying the bottom planks to the 1938 Chris Craft 19-foot custom runabout flying by. We've got one plank on. We always start at the keel and work out. And Joe is applying 5200. And the process involves, as you can see, oh my goodness, look at all the 5200. That is a single plank. We lay every single plank in place, use spacers so that we have all of the seams between the planks consistent going up to the keel from the chine. Every plank has a couple of fasteners drilled through it. And then starting at the transom and at the keel, we release planks and two at a time and begin applying the 5200 in a very ample thickness. Now you say, oh my goodness, that's so ugly. It's all squiggly. Well, we won't leave it that way. I'll let Joe tell you what he's going to be doing next.
Alright, so now I'm just lathering a bunch of 5200 onto the plywood. After I get all this ran out, I will be grabbing a 3-inch Bondo knife, and I'll just be smoothing it all out to make it one equal surface, because I want every square inch of that board to have, just the same amount of 5200 on the bottom of it as we did for the plywood. So it does take a lot of time, because you want to make sure you have plenty of 5200 underneath that one plank.
We shoot for at least 1/8 of an inch, right?
Yeah, you want to try to have 1/8 of an inch consistency throughout the whole plank. Usually goes about one tube for about 2 feet. 1.5 to 2 feet.
Yes, and the last video on flying by, where we were putting down the plywood, in the description that accompanies it, I estimated that we will use about 5 tubes per lineal foot LOA of the hull. Well, I was light. It will be closer to 7 feet. And at each of the butts, one of us, and I'll let you guess who it will not be, will climb beneath the boat, and we will install a butt block right there at every butt joint. This joint is on a frame. We don't land these on frames, because if we did, the bottom tends at times to move independent of the frame ever so slightly. Land your butt joints on the frame, and all you've guaranteed is 2 things. One, we already have a seam here of between 2 sheets of plywood, so you'd have a seam on a seam. That's not smart. And this butt block gives you a butt joint that is much, much stronger. RJ and Joe are getting prepared preparing to drop this board in place. What's going on, RJ?
Well, we're going through and we stick screws in each one of the screw holes. That way when we set it down on the 5200 and start sinking screws in, it doesn't push the 5200 up out of all these holes. That makes a real mess if you don't put these screws in first. And then we'll set it down and find where it goes and anchor it down. We'll tighten all these in a little bit as we go, and then we'll go back and crank them down and
then
so that they're nice and
why don't you explain where those puppies go?
These go on the inside of the boat on the floor. They go halfway in between each one of these main frames. And we put smaller screws in these, shorter screws in the main frames, but they help support your boat, keep it rigid.
Well, RJ and Joey will keep at it. One is almost on. Only 4 more to go after that. And you notice we don't just pull all of these planks off and make a pile of them. To do that is to go on a fool's errand. We've got them where we want them now, and they're all marked off with pencil, so taking a couple of them off at a time is the right way to go. Once this board's down, there'll be lots of squeeze out along the edge, which will be cleaned up with the same spatula. And you spread some of that onto the next course, RJ?
We clean it up along this seam, but when we do butt joints, we leave extra there. But we want to make sure this edge is nice and cleaned up when we're done, in case something happens and we have to walk away from it.
But can you use some of that stuff you scrape up for the next plank?
You can. A lot of times it has dirt and stuff in it.
Oh, well,
and
then,
if it does, then we don't use it. But if it's clean, then we can.
yeah. So several of you have asked about how much squeeze out is enough squeeze out. Well, here, this will give you a sense. RJ is driving all of the screws home now. You can see that we have a healthy bead of 3M 5200. Don't ever use 4200. Yes, I know it's cheaper and all of that wonderful stuff. It's cheaper for a reason. It has about 60% as much adhesion strength. You may save a little money, but you're shortcutting your job. And up forward here, Joe's got everything screwed down, and he's begun the cleaning process, and I think now you will understand why we're really unable to reuse the squeeze out. Unfortunately, it doesn't just come out in a nice, wonderful little dollop. Once Joe and RJ are finished scraping off the squeeze out, it'll be time to start cleaning. We have found over the years that the very best solvent for that process, and we will clean so that you literally do not see any of this white showing. We use Interlux brushing liquid 333 to clean off all of this excess, and then we'll go back and wipe it all down with a damp rag full of acetone. The acetone accelerates the curing process. You can see that RJ is making sure that the garboard keel seam is absolutely filled right to the top.
Another thing you want to do is make sure that when you're cleaning this up, and oftentimes he's actually taped off the edge of this board, and then after we've got the screws in it, and then wiped it down and scraped it down, because you don't want to get 5200 in these screw holes, because when we go to put premium filler in, you want a nice dry clean hole, not a rubberized hole.
Right.
Or else the premium filler will crack and fall out of the hole.
So Joe has the happy task now of starting at the bow, The rags soaked with 333. We go through a mountain of rags, hang them on our interior clothesline until everything's cured. Chemical fires inside a shop are not happy experiences. And we had one once. We learned our lesson. So everything stays hung up for 3 or 4 or 5 days, maybe a week, until it's really dry. And then we deposit it in garbage bags, but they go outdoors. Soon, flying by, we'll have our new bottom, at which point we will begin filling all the countersinks with 3M premium marine filler, and then fairing it flat with lots more sanding, at which point there'll be multiple coats of clear penetrating epoxy sealer applied once again. And once the sealer has cured, we will begin the process of building up 5 coats of Interlux 2000E barrier coat primer. Then we can put some hard racing copper bronze on her, flip her over, and she'll be ready for spring. Well, there are some minor things like putting the engine back in, putting all the hardware back on, but she'll have her bottom. So, as the guys finish up the garboard plank on the 1938 Chris Craft 19-foot custom runabout flying by, we say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain.